That should be in your pamphlets. That should come out of your mouth. Why? Because nobody knows that. You know more than 99.9% of the people on planet Earth right now. Electricity is a nutrient. Did you know that? Yeah. There's a lot of people going, huh? I knew vitamin A was a nutrient. I knew magnesium was a nutrient, but nobody ever taught me that electricity is a nutrient. But you wouldn't be sitting there if it wasn't for electricity. At conception, one cell meets another cell, and that divides into you 60 trillion times. In the time I have talked to you, you've replaced 250,000 red blood cells every minute. You've replaced them. The goal is to replace them with what? Sick cells or happy cells? Right. That's the key. How do we stay healthy? How do we not be sick and get through all of the crap that's coming at you from out there? Bad food, bad water, radiation, pollution. Electromagnetic frequencies from cell phone towers are ripping you to shreds. There's still radiation going around the planet from Hiroshima. It's not pretty what we're being bombed with. And we can't see it, but yet we're all feeling it right now. So the goal is to counter that. And if we do that, you survive very well. The MagnoSeek is not going to fix all your problems. If you smoke tobacco and drink alcohol every day and say, all I have to do is connect myself to a MagnoSeek, does not give you a license to abuse yourself. Make sense? But what it can do is gently, subtly give you a nudge, give you some information and say, this over here needs some help. And when you know that, then you can start focusing your efforts, right? Your protocols, what you would recommend. And a lot of those are Prife products. Okay? I'll show you what I mean. Ever see one of these? Every single one of you should have one of these. If you don't, why not? It's because nobody educated you. They'll say, oh, this is a beauty mister. Do you know it'll actually replace the sclera on your eyes? Hydrogen. I missed my eyes every day. Every day. Did you know inhaling hydrogen is actually a powerful antioxidant and can actually reverse tuberculosis? Did you know that? That's been proven. Want to hit? But yet you all think it's a beauty mister. And you have no idea it's actually helping your body. Powerful antioxidant. And that's hydrogen. There are 1,200 medical clinical studies that prove hydrogen heals you. 1,200 studies on this bottle alone, including inhalation, including eye protection. So if you didn't know that, you learned something new today. I could sell these all day. That's every single product I look at Prife. Like nobody's really looking at what these things really do. And I think that's beautiful, right? Because you already believe in the products or you wouldn't be here. But it's great when you can find out there's additional things and there's science to support everything we're doing, right? Let's get into it. NASA helped create this non-invasive technology. Why? They were sending astronauts up into space. And they said, how do we measure what happens to them? Because we know, right, if you're a rocket scientist, you know you're being bombarded with solar radiation, right? And you have very limited protection. So NASA tried to design something where it could watch what was happening to the spinning of electrons. Spinning of electrons, right? Now we're getting very small. All of our molecules, right? They have atoms. Those atoms contain a nucleus. Around that nucleus spins electrons, right? Think of the solar system. Sun, planets. No different than the molecules in your body where you have planets orbiting a nucleus. Isn't that amazing that we have the macro universe and then we have the micro universe inside of us and it's the same? So what happens if Jupiter gets knocked out of orbit? We're toast. We all die. It will take a while, a slow death. But that's no different than you. So NASA said we need a way to see what happens to electrons around the atoms in our body, because if those go funky, if they're spinning abnormally, it's going to cause degeneration. You're going to accelerate aging. Does that make sense? Yes? You with me? That means you're aging too fast. Radiation will do that. Radiation will take you out. It will accelerate degeneration because all your electrons are out of orbit. So just like it can affect the entire solar system, it can affect you on a tiny little scale, which amplifies. You with me? What MagnoSeek is doing is seeking out the planets around the sun that are not orbiting correctly and says, let me help you. Let me give you a pep talk. Let me give you some energy. Let me help you. I'll exercise you. I'll wake you up. Slowly, subtly, very slowly, very subtly. But if you do that every day, you nudge and you nudge and you nudge until chaos comes back to order. Entropy to nudge entropy. If you do that, then your path in the crystal ball has changed. The disease cannot manifest unless you allow it. Disease cannot manifest unless you allow it. I've been in medicine 40 years, and I'll tell you this, I've seen over 23,000 people one-on-one. That's a long time, a lot of people. I've learned a lot by listening to them, more than I ever read in a medical book. And you learn things. Nobody wants to age quickly. Everybody would like to enjoy their retirement and their grandchildren. That's your market. Anti-aging and longevity. Okay? That's a huge, huge market that nobody really seems to understand. I believe Prife has got that cornered. So understand what your company is about and where it's going, and you'll understand the MagnoSeek. Now, it's been improving. There are generations that go forward. But if we had this type of technology with electrocommunication, invisible biofield signatures, these signatures have information of life, and we can adjust the frequency or fine-tune what is optimum. We get harmony and homeostasis. Homeostasis meaning total balance in the body. My first book, I've written 5 books. My first book I ever wrote was called Life is a Teeter-Totter. You know what teeter-totter is? Right, on a playground? That's homeostasis. You want everything in the middle. If you go this way, not good. You go that way, it's not good. You're either hyper or hypo. That's not telling you what's wrong. That's just telling you you're out of balance. I want to work with balance. I don't want to work with symptoms. I want to know the cause. I taught medicine for 20 years at the college level, and I used to teach doctors and nurses. And I would tell them, look at everything that we have in medicine, and all it does is describe symptoms. If you say I have osteoarthritis, what did you say? I have inflammation of the joints of the bone. Is that a disease or a symptom? I have hypertension, which is known as high blood pressure. Is that a disease or a symptom? I could do this all day. What caused those things? We don't know, but take this drug. That's not medicine. You are not oil-based. None of you are oil-based. And yet that's the medicine that you receive, made from dinosaur blood. We got to change this. As a doctor, I believe in medications. There's a time and a place. I believe in emergency medicine. There's a time and a place. Why I'm here, why I'm not in the hospital, is because I'm tired of putting cars back together after they smash. When all you had to do was change the tires, fix the brakes, and take care of it. It would have never crashed. What's the number one killer of all women? Cardiovascular disease. 100% preventable. What's the number two killer of all people on planet Earth? Diabetes, type 2 and type 3, 100% preventable. Why are the two leading causes of death not our priority when they are preventable? Did you hear me? You were not made to suffer. Man did that for you. We're going to change that with Prife. What the MagnaSeek can do is help people understand your car needs some maintenance. Invest in you. Well, how do I do that? Well, I've got some other products that we can use. The MagnaSeek will help you, but it's not the device to fix you. Okay? The use of the magnets and the healing practices have been traced all the way back to the Greeks, the Chinese, the Egyptians. This has history. This has anecdotal as well as scientific evidence. The MagnaSeek analyzes that, and then what it does is it sends a corrective frequency back to the body to neutralize what is disrupting it. So if we have something like ionizing radiation, what is that? You guys have to talk. I'm not going to talk for 4 hours. Come on. What is non-ionizing radiation? What is ionizing radiation? Okay, ionizing radiation is cell phone towers. The sun. You get too much of it, what happens? It could hurt you. Non-ionizing does not hurt you. It actually helps you. And this is the interesting part. Terahertz is non-ionizing radiation. And people go, you're selling radiation? No, you didn't hear me. Non-ionizing. Well, what is that? Radiation is radiation. No, it's not. Just like I taught you, electricity is a nutrient. A lot of people do not know that. You want to pique someone's interest? Say that. Did you know electricity is a nutrient? It is not. Now you got a discussion going. That's called a business card. So non-ionizing actually helps our electrons go back into a proper orbit. Ionizing knocks them out of whack, and you're in trouble. It can take 1 million cells to go abnormal before you could detect cancer in the body. I don't want to wait till I hit 1 million. I want to stop it in its tracks. Do you agree? This is what we're doing. We're not out there to replace medicine. We're not doctors. We're just going to give you a simple platform that you can use in your own home to help you figure out how to do better with your health, where there are areas to improve. And the good news is we can do this AI. We make it so simple, you're going to love what's happening. Because I know a lot of you have learned it manually. Whew, congratulations. That's not easy. I applaud you. Because that's not easy. That's a lot of software. That's a lot of buttons. That's a lot of time and effort, isn't it? Imagine if you could just point your camera at it, and with a QR code, it'll automatically run, figure out everything for you, and apply the correct frequencies back to the body. And all you have to do is go about your business. No more pushing buttons. Would you like that? So it will do that all by itself with the AI feature. You don't have to figure out the frequencies. I used to have Rife machines. Some of you probably know what I'm talking about. And every time there was a new virus, I had to buy frequencies. And a virus can literally morph or change in as little as 24 hours. Did you know that? The common cold virus, rhinovirus, can change in 24 hours. So if I accidentally gave it to you and you got the cold and gave it to her, by the time she gets it, it's not the same virus I gave to her, it changed. So how can a frequency keep up? The MagnaSeq figures out what the frequency is in the moment. You don't have to think. You don't have to buy new frequencies. The MagnaSeq will do that for you. That's really different. From any of you that have ever used the Rife machine, you know what I'm talking about. The goal is restore those energetic balance, support the body's natural healing. It's like giving your cells a pep talk. This is what you say to people right here. You can use my name, I don't care. It's like giving your cells a pep talk, empowering them to get their act together. Stand up. Be at attention. You've got a job to do. Cell, cytology, technology, in my opinion, should be the tagline for Prife. What those words mean. Cytology is the study of the cell. Technology, study of technology. We have technology for the cell. You will get a lot of people interested in your product if you talk like that. They'll go, really? Tell me more. Our products go down to the cell. Now, I work in the World Organization of Natural Medicine. I've connected over 5,000 doctors around this planet. I work with them all the time. And they'll all tell you the same thing. What's going on today? The cell. Every nutritional product, everything that's coming out from, I don't care what company, is focused on one thing, trying to help the health of the cell. And you're already there. That's what the MagnaSeq is, why I get so excited. Because it's very good at looking at individual cells and say, where's the problem? And if I can go there, and somebody's sleeping on a job, I can come along very gently, slap them in the face a little bit. Hey, you got a job to do, wake up. But sometimes when we're really tired and somebody slaps you around, you just go back to sleep, right? Your cells are no different. So sometimes you got to slap them again and again and again. You need more pep talk. You need a lot more pep talk. You got your arm around it, come on, right? That's what this is doing. If the cells wake up, if they spin correctly, and everybody's back to homeostasis, what happens to your symptoms? It's so easy, anyone can do it. That's what you're recommending. It's helping? Frequencies become imbalanced due to all the stuff all of you know. It's common sense, right? Illness, stress, exposure to toxins, all these things. Right? What's really going on planet Earth right now, in my opinion, my humble opinion, the United States of America, I've got a lot of friends in the military. You could probably guess I'm pretty connected to a lot of stuff. So I could tell you this with certainty. They stopped 56 different frequency attacks on the United States in the last month alone. These are organized weapons. So if they're doing that to the United States, what makes you think the rest of the world isn't being affected either? This will become a political nightmare because frequency does not know borders. Frequency can travel to another person like that. That's a dangerous weapon. So I feel, not to get doom and gloom, but I think we need things to help keep us centered. That's why I talked about prayer in Penang. I talked about scalar energy. I talked about how important it is to keep your balance, your homeostasis. Use products that give you scalar energy, products you can infuse with scalar energy, right? Terahertz, pulsed electromagnetic frequencies, negative ions, infrared, all the stuff you can't see, yet you have access to all of that. And that's exactly what humans need to protect themselves. I use my bio every morning, every night. I couldn't bring it with me here, but I promise you I do that. When I'm on emails, I'm on my bio, right? I get done, I get out of my chair, terahertz. I use the MagnoSeek, I use the wand, and I use the bio. I call it my Trinity. And that's what, I don't care if it's an IBO, I don't care if it's a PWG. I tell everybody that comes into my business, I say, those are the three products you're going to get. Otherwise, I'm not helping you. And they're like, why? Because you need those 3 products. Here's why. And we're talking about just one. But with the MagnoSeek, we can seek and find what's going on, right? And we can actually provide feedback to the body to help it wake up and fix itself. Then I can apply terahertz. And I can put them on a bio, and they get infrared and negative ions and pulsed electromagnetic frequency. And more terahertz. And the body's going, where's that been? Now I'm coming back to okay. And then all that stuff that's coming at you is not so detrimental. Make sense? Just like you need to eat antioxidants to survive. So, humans are essentially electromagnetic beings. That's not being talked about around the world. But electricity is very, very important. The magnetism is very important in what holds us together because basically you're empty space. You may think you're solid, but you're not. 94% of you is empty space. But you've been compacted into a solid. It's good you're not a liquid or a gas, right? How many states of matter are there? I just named 3 of them. Liquid, solid, gas. Where are the other 2? Oh, wow, we got a lot to teach at Prife. Number 4 is plasma. Plasma comes from the sun. Plasma comes from lightning, which creates negative ions and terahertz. So plasma is actually a force to regenerate us, and nobody's talking about it. And the 5th one, called the Bose-Einstein conjugate. What does that mean? These are very, 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 very tiny little parts of us that are subatomic, that are actually vibrating and moving. What does that mean? It means this table is moving. Even though it's solid matter, those molecules are vibrating. Everything around you is moving. A rock is moving. But we don't think that way because we can't get that tiny. That's the purpose of the MagnoSeek, to get that tiny. I'll tell you a secret of the MagnoSeek. Whether you're an IBO, whether you're a PWG, I don't care. The power of the MagnoSeek is it goes down to the cellular level and it focuses on the mitochondria. Okay? I want you to remember that. Its primary focus is the mitochondria. Let's talk about that a little bit. You guys okay with this? Okay. So remember high school biology, right? In a cell, there's a bunch of organelles in there, right? Endoplasmic reticulum, right? There's all kinds of stuff. But the mitochondria is the generator of energy. So like if your electricity goes out in your house, you have a generator, mitochondria. So who makes energy? Mitochondria. So next time somebody says to you, I wish I had more energy, I look at them and go, well, you got bad mitochondria. You can laugh at that because it's true. If I take a cell off my skin, I put it under a microscope, I blow up the cell, I'm going to have maybe 1 or maybe 2 mitochondria inside that cell. And the mitochondria does what? Makes energy for the cell. But if I take that same cell out of your heart, there are hundreds of mitochondria in every single cell of your heart. Hundreds per cell. Why? The heart never rests. You're going to need a lot of mitochondria. Okay, I'm going somewhere with this. Common sense. The heart is failing. Congestive heart failure, right? What's happening? The cells of the heart have poor mitochondria. They can't make energy. The heart's getting weak. You're going home. You understand? What if our device was able to say, I see things are out of whack. I can help give up to those cells. I can wake them up. I can get them going again. With time, if there's enough time, we can pull ourselves out of this. Make sense? So I see that with MagnaSeek. I see people saying, my energy came up. Well, yeah, because we're focused on the... Isn't that good stuff? Does that help you a little bit? Yes. Okay. Magno aims to restore those frequencies to their optimum levels. So what MagnaSeek does is takes a digital analysis of what an optimum human would be based upon gender, based upon their birth date, and their blood type. We have a graph of what is considered optimum for every cell in the human body. That's pretty cool. When we run the MagnaSeek, it will take a picture of you like an MRI. It's exactly the same technology. It's the same technology. And when we do that, we can see where groups of cells are not maybe functioning like they should. They're asleep, they're tired, they're sick. They could even be destroyed. Make sense? So it starts giving frequencies back to those sick cells, the ones that need help, the ones that need to be picked up and helped along. With time, the more you do it, the better. The more you do it, the better. The more you do it, the better. To get to the same graph of what you should be for optimum. Make sense? That's pretty cool. That if you're out of optimum, even a little bit, a MagnaSeek will help bring you back there. If you're out of it a lot of it, we got work to do. Right? There's more to do. There's not one cell in your body older than 7 years. Nowhere. You are constantly replacing cells. They break down, they're replenished. The inside of your stomach is replaced every 3 days. Your liver, I could take 2/3 of it out, it'll grow back. I don't recommend that. But think about that. So even if we introduce a MagnaSeek and say, hey, you need to use this on a continual basis, it's going to help you train your cells, plus I've got some other things you could do. I'd love to get you on some electrolytes. I'd love to get you on some hydrogen. You really should get a terahertz wand. You can measure how the body's coming back to its normal because you have a database now. And they can see that. That's the beauty of the MagnaSeek. You have a record of where they started and where you've gotten them. Not to mention, plus what they feel, right? So if there's nothing older than you than 7 years, and we start by doing everything right, the best air, the best water, the best food, the best prayer, the best MagnaSeek, we do everything perfectly, how long will it take to build a brand new you? Not 7 minutes, not 7 days, not even 7 months, 7 years to replace you. Completely, 100% from top to bottom. Now, it's not just, 7 years done. We're not bugs, right? It's not a locust plague. What I'm saying is you are constantly tearing cells down and replacing them, but the oldest cell ever is always 7 years behind you, normally in the bone. The bone are the oldest cells in the body. So if you have a bad lifestyle, you're drinking and smoking and you're doing all the wrong stuff and you don't care and you're mean and you're a rotten person, what's your body going to be like in 7 years? Exactly. So when we say optimum level, now you understand what I'm talking about. Explain this in Penang. What is optimum? Nobody really knows, but I'll just pick an arbitrary number because it's fun. 28. How'd you like to be 28 when you're 68? Where do I sign? Okay, I'm 65. There you go. You don't look it, and hopefully I don't. Because I have a machine that can tell me what my biological age is, not my chronological, biological. My biological age is 44. Thank you, I'm proud of that. Of course, after eating Malaysian food for 2 weeks, maybe 49, but nah, I love the food. But that's what we mean by getting back to optimum. So what is that comparative analysis, the MagnoSeek, of what you should be like at 28? And so if we're advancing too fast, it can help bring us back. Remember? We can reverse the time arrow, which is called negentropy. That's phenomenal. So I spoke about that in Penang, and I got so excited because I'm like, do you really understand what you guys have? You guys have just a phenomenal business opportunity in your laps. But it takes education, doesn't it? And that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you do that. Okay? Thank you. I appreciate your time. All right, this is a little technical, but some people love this. So the NMR is called nuclear magnetic resonance. That's MRI. Okay, very similar to MRI technology. And in the States, you get an MRI out of pocket, it's $1,000 US. What is that? 3,000 Malaysian? 4? Okay, just to get that test. It's a lot of money. So that's how we can see a picture inside of you, is through what's called nuclear magnetic resonance. And that's just basically seeing how those electrons are spinning around their orbits in the cells, right? That's how it could say, hey, these cells going down this part of the heart are not happy. We even have things built into the software to see if it's a pathogen, right? Could be a bacteria, a fungus, a parasite, a virus, right? We have all kinds of things in there. What's the right foods to help balance this? What foods should they be eating? It will tell you that. What foods should they avoid? It'll tell you that. So it'll take all that information for you and generate a report at the end that you can put right on your phone and take with you. So people can come experience your MagnoSeek, get a report, walk out the door and go, I know what to work on. What's that worth? An ounce of prevention is a pound of cure. That's my point. People in the States are lining up for this. Okay? I have a waiting list 3 months long. For what? To try the... Do you have that? You should. You do? Okay, what are you doing? Using it every day, but how are you getting a waiting list? All right, so just so we understand that nuclear magnetic resonance is how we take the picture of you. And that could be cut up into sections. The interesting part is how we bring what's called electromagnetic resonance back to the body. So first we can get an analysis of what's going on. We can find out where frequencies are in or out of balance, and we can apply a corrective frequency right back to those cells. That's the pep talk. That's how we wake them up. That's how we exercise them. And like exercise, right? You can go work out for one day, the next day you're sore, and then you quit. We got to keep going. So NMR and EMR align the readings with your organs, your tissues, all the way down to the cellular level. Okay? That's going to help us get our energy to come back to normal. If something's spinning abnormally or not spinning at all, right? It's like chi, right? You can have stagnant chi, you can have excessive or submissive, or none at all. Correct? It's the same thing with your cells. They can be spinning too fast, spinning too slow, or not at all. They're in trouble. They've been knocked out of orbit. by ionizing radiation, additives, preservatives, chemicals, all the stuff that doesn't belong in your body, including medications. So electrocommunication from the MagnaSeq works on which of the following? Invisible biofields? Does it adjust the frequency? And did balance, harmony, and homeostasis? Yeah. Humans are essentially electromagnetic beings. Frequencies in our bodies become imbalanced due to poor lifestyle choices, chronic stress, or toxic environment. True or false? That's true. It's pretty simple, right? All right. I used to have this. This was actually a moving picture. I apologize, but when I brought it over, I lost the picture. But you can see the arrow. So like a compass, right? North and south, magnetic. You see that? You can have spin based upon the north and the south poles. It's going to spin like a top. That's how we take a picture of you, as every atom, molecule in the body, all the way through the cellular level, can light up on the MagnaSeq and show us where things are in or out of balance. Because those magnetic fields is how we get this to spin correctly on its axis. So what if this was wobbly, right? Spinning off its axis, you're in trouble. Or if it's spinning too fast, too slow, not at all, you're in trouble. Right? It's kind of like, remember the old fairy tale, the three bears? Right? This bed is just right? This bed's too hard, this bed's too soft, this is too big, too small. You get the idea. So that's what we're looking for here, is to get these protons, neutrons, electrons spinning in its proper orbit. The natural frequency of that nuclei matches the frequency of an external wave. What does that mean? It means that we can figure out the frequency, and the MagnaSeq is doing that with its own software and sending the right frequency to help it spin correctly. Okay? It's just magnetism. Simple, subtle, mild magnetism. The problem with modern medicine is it's a sledgehammer. Surgery is a sledgehammer. Medications can be deadly. Side effect can be death. There are medications that the side effect is death. How is that a medication? Doesn't sound like one to me. We're working with feathers. Simple, light, passive energy. We're not being aggressive here. We're just gently nudging things along to come back to order. We're not hitting it hard. This is why we lose doctors that start looking at this. Well, how come it's not fixing my problem? Well, if it does that, we don't need you. That's what I say. Then they stop talking like that. We're not here to replace you. This machine is not meant to replace a doctor. No, this machine is to be a compass to help you find the right journey for you and your family, to be as healthy and as optimum as you can, right? I'll give you an example. I have 8 grandchildren, right? And in the US, the average child, by the time they're 7 years of age, has had 72 vaccines. Welcome to the United States. Fact, Google it. Now, that being said, my grandchildren, 1 got a Hep B vaccine at birth. All the rest of them got 0. They are all 3 years ahead of their academics. All 8 of them, if I combined all their sick days together, is only 3 days. So, interesting, right? I'm not here to say, I'm just trying to get you to understand what you're up against, what we're up against over there. This is not right. Pumping these children with, in my opinion, way too many vaccines causes neurological problems, attention deficit, autism, Asperger's. There's a lot of bad stuff happening to our children. And so, I'm trying to get this stopped, right? And it is turning. We have a new president. He's all in. He's like, you're right. These vaccines are bad. Yes, they are. But it took a lot of effort, right? And it's because I helped those children stay in a natural order, right? They were raised on herbs. They were raised on vegetables. They didn't get soda. They didn't get sugar. They didn't. And they're all doing wonderful. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out. All right. That's what I love about the MagnoSeq, because we can take that to that extent. So this is kind of one example of a picture of a MagnoSeq, which is a cross-section of the head. All of these individual points and dots are what the MagnoSeq is looking at, right? It's picking up energy all the way down to the cells at every one of these points of entry. And it can determine by what's called a pathway what's going on. These are what I talk about with optimum for your age, your gender, all of that, your blood type, what would be optimum and what is really being recorded. So the difference in the wavelengths is a difference of whether something's in harmony or not in harmony. Does that make sense? Okay. Then we have a code, right? We have a 1 to 6 code, and it will look at these codes. Most good cells are going to be around a 2, not a 1, a 2. You'll get into 1 when the cell gets really excited and happy. But normally we stay around a 2. 2 just means we're good. I'm good. You don't need to talk to me. I don't need any exercise. I'm fine. You start getting a 3 and 4 and 5, we got lazy people sitting on the couch watching TV. These people over here are in a coma. Okay. So what do you think as a doctor I would focus on first? Yes, I'm going here. I don't want anybody sleeping on the job, right? You spend a lot of money keeping this thing going. It costs money. You want to be optimum. So anything in here can be helped. This might be a little more difficult. This is telling you there's a serious problem going on. You may have manifested a disease. The tissue could be necrotic, which means dead. Right? Let's say you had a heart attack. That's dead tissue. That don't come back. See what I'm saying? And I see that many times. See, oh, your brain is showing all, oh, I had a stroke. Yeah, I see that. It's going to give you information like that. But as a doctor, and I can say this, there are certain diseases in the body that are going to act differently and may not always be detectable. In my opinion, kind of things that lead to cancer are pretty much detectable in early stages. But once they become advanced, they trick your entire body. They trick your immune system. They trick everything as to your body thinking it's normal tissue, including the MagnoSeq. Did you hear me? You need to hear what I said. And if you didn't, I'll repeat it. Certain advanced diseases will not show up on the MagnoSeq because it tricked the body into thinking it was a part of it. Cancer's nasty. It's got an attitude. Okay? Does that make sense? So most people that have an advanced cancer in their body already know they have it. But I've had people say, I ran a MagnoSeq and they go, well, it didn't pick up that cancer I got in there. What's your point? Did you know that your eyes are bad? No. Well, you do now. What's that got to do with my cancer? Well, that's my point. So, does that make sense? I want you to remember that sometimes advanced diseases like diabetes, cancer, heart disease that have been there a long time, after a while, the body goes, I give up. I've been fighting on that for 20 years. I give up. And that's what a lot of people don't understand is the majority of cancers take 20 years to develop. I'm not talking about pancreatic or brain or liver, but pancreatic, breast, colon, kidney could take 2 decades to develop. And yet by the time you find you got it, now it's surgery, chemo, radiation, not good. And you hope you live. What if you ran a MagnaSeek back here 10 years before that happened, found out your kidneys weren't so happy, and you changed your lifestyle, you changed your diet, you started doing everything, terahertz, you started drinking and eating everything right, and suddenly you don't have it. What was that worth? Can you put a price on that? No. That's invaluable. I have no problem selling MagnaSeeks. Zero. Because I'm like, would you like a crystal ball? Yeah. I got one. That's pretty cool, right? Thunderstorm around your neck. How'd you like to look into a crystal ball? See, think simple. You're not promising anything. One thing about the MagnaSeek, you run this for a person, they'll see it for themselves, and they're already interested. I love that. Electromagnetic resonance. This is what's coming back to the body. This is what's coming to the electrons to help them spin correctly. Non-invasive means we don't have to poke you. They penetrate the cells, the tissues, the organs to restore the body's natural balance, to bring us back to order. I love that. Gonna do that in 5 minutes? No, it's gonna take a while, right? So how long would you do a MagnaSeek? For life? Sounds good to me. Because imagine if you ran it weekly, right? And all of a sudden, 1 week, you run it, you go, ooh, that doesn't look too good in my liver there. But now I can do something immediately to change it. And it doesn't get missed, and years later manifest into disease. To me, how do you put a price on that? Right? So we have to think differently. That's how I started. We have to think differently. So when I run into practitioners, and you're going to run into them too, they think disease. They think surgery. They think hammers. They don't think feathers. Make sense? So you speak the language of feathers. You do not speak the language of hammers. Okay? Subtle. Use that word every time you talk about MagnaSeek. This is a subtle, non-invasive device. It's a what? Subtle, non-invasive device. Thank you. This is an example where the MagnaSeek is going down to a different organelle inside the cell. This is actually a chondrocyte, which is part of your collagen, right? Kind of like what you got in your nose, collagen. So these are just examples. Therapy is based on the idea that each cell in the human body emits electromagnetic frequencies. We said that. The EMR sends back those signals, restores balance, positive outcomes. We can even say this has been scientifically shown with this type of therapy, is allergies, chronic fatigue, digestive issues. You can say that. We've been shown to help with that. I actually have some clinical studies that I think are in here. Sessions. Everybody always asks, how many sessions should I run, that sort of thing. I know Ethan's probably got ideas on this as well, but this is what I recommend. I usually run my MagnaSeek twice a week. That's what I do, like every 3-4 days. And I like to sleep with it. I like to put it on and go to bed, right? It's AI. I don't have to think. I just turn it on and go to bed. And it will figure out where I'm in balance or not in balance. And it will apply, right, electromagnetic resonance to me while I sleep. And when does your body regenerate the most? When you're asleep. So I always recommend, if you own a MagnaSeek, run that all night. Okay? Maybe every 3-4 days. Because when you run a scan, I'm not talking about the repair, just a scan, that resonance, that energy is in you for about 3-4 days. So if you're running a scan every day, it's too much. Does that make sense? You can run repair every day as often as you want. There's an AI repair button, but my point is you don't need to scan all the time. Does that make sense? I know a lot of you have manual. You understand what I'm saying. Okay? All right. Yeah, we did that. Sometimes we can run a report. I love the reports. You could hit a button called AI report now. You just hit that. It will pull all of your black, your magenta, right? The things that are big concerns. It will pull that automatically and put that into a report for you. You don't even have to think. And you just have your customer or yourself QR code, and there's the report right on their phone. They can literally walk out of your business and they have the report. And it says right in there what they can do, where the areas of concern are. It even makes recommendations, right? Ethan and I are working very hard because we want to put in a lot of things. Like if we see certain things, I know from the products what should be recommended for the problem. I get people from all over the world. I have an email if you want it. Okay, DOC. DOCTALK, Doc Talk, at prifemail.com. doctalk@prifemail.com. So I get these from all over the world. People saying, well, I ran a MagnaSeek and it said this. What do I do now? So Ethan and I want to put a bunch of things together because I'm recommending, well, why aren't you using the terahertz one? Why aren't you using the bio? Well, I didn't know. You think that'll help with this? Well, yeah, let's talk about the technology. Right? If we understand the technology, we should be able to understand what to apply to a person with an issue. Correct? This means all of the products you have with Prife, you should be recommending all of them when you see these issues. I actually helped someone from a home office yesterday who called me. I won't mention names, but thank you for thinking of me that way. And they said, I'm sick. What can I do? And I said, tell me what your symptoms are. I said, I would use Natobacillus and your hydrogen mister. 24 hours later, I got a phone call from that person and said, I'm better already. And I'm like, you work for the company and did not know that? I don't mean that in disrespect. I mean that from, we have a lot of education to do. And our products tackle a massive variety, no matter what the problem is. With terahertz, PEMF, negative ions, infrared, you have the ability to help people left and right, and no matter what the problem is. The MagnaSeek will also give you a compass, a guide, and apply exercise to the cell. Isn't that cool? Now, is it all coming together? You okay so far? Thank you, I appreciate it. Now, things are changing and are rapidly changing in our technology development, right? We came out with a MagnaSeek. It was Windows 7. It had a difficult interface, right? We all know that. We had to learn manual. Poor Ethan, he hasn't slept for a month. We're bothering him, right? Now we have AI. And it's very fast, very quick, very easy, and people are loving it. All you do is put it into the phone, attach a strip to the left side, which is where the pulse points are. The pulse points of entry, the closest to your central nervous system is your left wrist. So it has to be on the wrist, and a very good seal. Do not have a loose seal, loose band, because it'll pick up your phone. If somebody's talking on the phone next to you, it's picking that up. You're going to get a false reading. So I make sure they're in a room, no phones, no technology, no alarm clocks, nothing, no batteries. I have them in a room. I call it sterile room. No electronics. And I have them in a couch, right? Laid back and relaxed. I want that scan that they're not doing anything. Don't let them eat before you scan. or the pancreas will be all messed up. This thing is really sensitive. It knows when you ate, right? And that can skew your results. Just as if you're mad or angry. No, don't scan. Your cells are angry. Make sense? We want them relaxed. Maybe go through some controlled breathing exercises with them and get them relaxed, right? Maybe run a little lavender or something, right? Chill. And so we want to wear that on the wrist side with the Prife facing you. Make sense? And if you see little dots going back and forth, it's working. The device compares the measured data against reference patterns. I talked about that. What is a perfect pattern, what your pattern is, and compares them. The cool thing is when we get those comparisons, it holds that data and says, here's what we saw. Then when we apply the repair, it'll show us what got better. So you can find out, did the number of sessions even do any good? I've had people who have done that. I'm like, it didn't do much. We need to keep going. You need to come back. Need more. Does that make sense? So we have very low frequency electromagnetic waves. Adjust the frequencies based on that data from that assessment. That's how it's figuring out, there's differences in comparative data. It will hang on to that for you. It will also show you what improved. Okay? What got better. In fact, Ethan and I were working on one last week or 2 weeks ago. It all runs together. Going down a pathway. And there was a virus. And he showed me how we could keep going at that pathway manually, right? Just keep going after it, go after it, go after that. But that virus doesn't want it to nature. It was tough. I think we got it down 7%. That's not enough. So I have to go back and work on it again and again till it's 100%. Make sense? So that's kind of cool that you have that ability to see that in real time. That'll help you understand how many times you should be running a MagnoSeq. MagnoSeq analyzes the body, then sends those frequencies back into the body to neutralize those disruptive frequencies. We call this report, that's false. Because the report is just telling you what happened. I'm just trying to see if you're awake. All right. Easy to use. High resolution frequency generators aim for greater accuracy in detecting and modulating those signals. So the technology is going to be improving as we go forward. It's going to keep getting better. We've gone from Windows 7 to Windows 10. We've gone from older computer interfaces to now the M19, which makes this whole computer board wireless, which is really nice when you're like me and you want to sleep with it. Because the old one I had to take to the bathroom with an extension cord. Right? You've all been there. The new ones, we don't need to do that. Comes with a mouse. So we made great improvements. And then the CPU, the processing unit of that hardware is much faster. So we're going to have less crashes, less calls to Ethan at 2 a.m. Right? That's beautiful. So we will get there. We just keep developing it better and better and better. But here's the cool part. One of the things I asked the company to do, thank God, is they said, hey, how would you improve this technology? And I said, I would get something called bone conduction headphones. Okay, those are different than regular headphones. Why aren't you writing this down? Bone conduction headphones. If I owned a MagnoSeq, I'd buy them. I wouldn't even hesitate. Because bone conduction headphones, they rest on what's called the zygomatic arch. This is your bone, your skull. When it touches the skull, it goes way deeper into the cells, all the way to the marrow, way more than it will with the wrist strap. The wrist strap is good. If I had to pick a number, I'd say the wrist strap is probably 94% accurate. Bone conduction headphones, you're at 98, 99. Okay, because you're touching the bone. Then when the frequencies are coming back, they're coming into the bone, which goes into the marrow. That's perfect. So bone conduction headphones have been studied for this type of technology. They're a little pricey. I apologize. They're usually about $700 to $900 US. But I'll tell you, if you're serious about MagnoSeq, get them, because it's a game changer. Yes.
What?
Yeah, that's more into what we call contraindications, right? I'm going to get at that in a minute. I'll answer that. So high resolution frequency is what prompted me to tell you about bone conduction headphones. It's not that you don't need to get them. That's why we don't include them with the M19. But as a doctor, as a practitioner, as a quantum physicist guy, I'm telling you, I'd get them because it will amp it up. You'll get better results. Touch screen controls, the client usually remains still. We talked about that. It can take 30 to 60 minutes depending upon how fast you run it. Did you know there's a speed control for that? You can slow it down. No? Yes? Okay. A lot of people don't know that. So while they're sitting there, right? Once the scan is done and we're going through something like AI repair, it's just running its thing and sending back corrective frequencies, then they can kind of get up and do things and talk on the phone. But while you're scanning, make it sterile. Okay, you want the best scan you can get. And I usually keep that in the back file, system administrator, so I have that database I can work with. I like to see that. Then maybe in a month or 2 or 3 or 6 months, I run another one. And then I can compare those two. Here's where you were 6 months ago. Here's where you are now. And they see those real results, things that have changed. You look like a hero. Again, this varies with everybody. Everybody's different, right? I mean, if you've got a very, very nasty disease that's going to take your life, I would walk around with this thing connected to me all day. Right? But if you're generally good health, feeling pretty good, you don't have to run it that often. You maybe don't need as many sessions. But once you look into some of those comparative analysis and see what has gotten better, and we're going to probably come up with continuing education classes for you guys. It takes time, but we'll put that together. Ethan and I were just talking about that over lunch. And we want to do that. We want to bring advanced levels so that we can go deeper and deeper and understand this technology. But we can't just give that out to anybody. Here's what I'm going to say. If you're an IBO, go AI. End of story. Don't go any farther. Okay? Now, that didn't apply when you had to do everything manually. I get that. But as you go forward with M19, just my humble advice, you do what you want, but if you want to keep yourself doing okay and compliant, right? You run AI only. Because it's not you doing anything. It's not you saying anything. The report will even tell them what they need to do. You haven't opened your mouth yet. That keeps you legally compliant. You start doing manual, you're in doctor territory. And that's fine. We can all learn that and go there. I have no problem with that. But as your medical director, I'm going to police you. Because I'm not going to let you take the company down. Please, let's all know that we're all in this together. You're responsible for the person next to you. We all have a problem if we lose our company. So we need to play by the rules. If you're going to get in the manual, we're going to go through some trainings and certifications where I'll actually give you a certificate with my name on it because I know you took the quiz. And I know that what you're going to say is not going to put yourself or this company in trouble. Is that fair? Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Now you know why I'm here. I care. Okay? I care about my country. I care about planet Earth. That is my country. All right. So 36 minutes, usually what we're doing. Number of cycles vary with each client, depends on where they're at, right? You're going to be able to see that. Some people look really great. Hey, you're doing great. Don't worry about it. Other people are like, you need to come back once a week, right? Some people notice a change right away. I had a friend of mine who's a chiropractor. I talked him into TheraCare, which is PWG, right? And he had ocular surgery done for cataracts. They messed up his eyes. Tried everything. I put him on a MagnaSeek 1 session, and he could read again. And he cried. And he joined Thera, dropped 18 grand. Boom, right there on the spot. Anybody can make me see? Here's 18 grand. I didn't do anything. All I did was hook him up to a MagnaSeek. I didn't expect that to happen, but it was exactly what his body needed to heal those eyes. And of course, I gave him the Envy specs right after that, right? And I said, you need those too. You need the negative ions, right? You see how that works? Boom, boom, boom. Oh, you need a hydrogen mister too. Let me get you on subscribe and save. That's how you do it. Here, notable benefits. You are allowed to say this because see how I'm giving you clinical substantiated study? That means you can say these things as long as you give credit to the study. Got it? If you put that on a pamphlet on your website, make sure you cite the source. That's how you get around things legally. Then we can say, guess what? It helps with allergy relief, pain management. Who does that? Improves sleep, which is like one of the number one things worldwide is people aren't sleeping, except a couple of people in this room. Increased calm energy. My wife coined that. First time I gave her a wand. She's sitting on the couch, and all of a sudden she's just like, I just have this calm energy. And I went, oh, that's it. That's what terahertz is. Calm energy. Not energy like, right? Calm, like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm awesome, man. I can go all day. I love the word calm energy. People want to know what this is. Assist detoxification. Helps boost the immune system. Are those good benefits? You are allowed to say this. Okay? This is just something I use in the US. I won't bother you with it, but the Journal of American Medical Association is our prestigious doctor journal in the United States. I should say North America. And they said in 2002, 90% of all illness, doesn't matter what the name of it is, comes from lifestyle, stress, and the environment. Can you change your lifestyle? Can you manage stress? Can you make a better environment? Then you're helping 90% of every disease on planet Earth because you're in this business. Getting it? Yeah. And here's the kicker. They said only 10% of a patient's outcome can we help with drugs and surgery. That means 9 out of 10 people need you. You're in the right position. That should give you goosebumps, people. That should make you go, I can't wait to get out there and sell. Because you know what? People say that to me. Oh, what are you selling? Right? Here's my answer. Health. You interested? Because if you're not interested in health, I don't want to talk to you. I know where you're going. And people shut right up when you say that. Oh, you're in that company where you sell stuff. Yeah, I sell health. You interested? Well, yeah, I am. Then okay. Not a scam. You understand that? I'm here to bring you credible science and data. I tell you, this is not a joke. All right, there is a handbook. We have that available. You can print those off, whatever. We have videos that are out there now. We're going to get better. We're going to create more dynamic videos, better training. Give us some time. We have growing pains. There's only so much time in a day, but I promise you, you're going to like what you see in the future. Okay? All right, so what should they do? Remove all that stuff, right? Make sure you have a clean, sterile room, right? EMF free, right? We have EMF shield protectors, right? Those should be all over the inside of a room. I'd stick them right on the wall. Stick them on anything metal, any type of device. Protect that whole room all the way around you. Okay? Here's what you were asking before, contraindications. The majority of these are simply one thing. We've never had a chance to run a study, so therefore we can't say it's okay. Like pregnant women, right? We're not going to take a bunch of pregnant women and run a MagnaSeek and see what happens, even though I know it's not going to hurt them. So we have to say that to cover ourselves. But implanted medical devices make sense. Pacemaker, insulin pump, right? If you're talking about a shunt in the brain, I'm not too concerned. talking about mostly metal. I would never use terahertz if you got metal in your body. It will absorb the heat. Somebody's got a hip replacement, that thing will turn red hot inside them. You can wand the feet, maybe the hand, maybe the neck, but don't go near that hip. Okay? It'll pick it up. So we don't want implanted medical devices in the body. That's just common sense. Pregnancy, common sense. Children, let's, come on, common sense. But if you think about it, it's not invasive. Remember that. Very subtle. Okay? Any questions? Yes? Again, we don't have any studies. And if somebody's in a situation where, let's say they're depressed and suicidal, and they ran a MagnoSeek and decided to kill themselves, you could blame the MagnoSeek. Even though that's not what did it. Does that make sense? So it's just smart to say, we have to make sure people are of sound mind. Again, if in doubt, don't. But is this going to hurt them? But we have to say that legally. I have to stick with this because that's the legal definition. I'm talking about the MagnoSeek. Just the MagnoSeek is all I'm talking about right now. Okay, good question. Will it pay for itself? Well, right now in the US, people are getting $60 to $150 to use it once. I told you I got a 3-month waiting period. So is it paying for itself? Yeah. Some, you could do a package deal, like some people say, well, how often should I come back to get one? I'm like, well, based upon what we saw, there's some black squares in there. I'm going to have you come back maybe once a week for a couple months. But is that all I'm going to recommend? What else would you do? Look at everything, right? Your iTero, look at, your supplements, look at everything hydrogen, all oxytabs, all the different things that you have available to recommend based upon what you're seeing. Make sense? So that's just to let you know that it can be done. I mean, if you ran 500 sessions, pretty good money. That's US. All right. With the MagnoSeek, you can run a report and perform sessions. The wrist strap should be placed on the right wrist or ankle. No, it should be the left. But if you're missing the left arm, it's okay to use the right. The number of sessions varies with each person. You can do from 1 to 20 at a time. The more sessions in one sitting, the more powerful it becomes. What do you think? The more you do, the more it becomes powerful. Yes or no? Yes, it does. Remember I said, I sleep with mine? I wanted to run all night long. Why not? I'm sleeping. Right? The more you do, more powerful it becomes. Sometimes, Ethan and I have been watching things like this, and the other people that work with MagnoSeek, all of the crew, everybody that's involved, I don't mean to single him out. There are a lot of us that are helping you. We watch that and we see, what is responding, right? And some of these things, like maybe, a genital herpes or something, is very difficult to get out of the body. And you may run 10 sessions and then do a comparative analysis and see that you only weakened it 7%. That's why it's going to come back. So you got to keep going, don't you? The more sessions, the more powerful it becomes. That's why I'm big on saying, hey, everybody should have one of these in their house. because you're going to need to run it a lot, right? To get to that point. Electromagnetic interference can happen in what situations? Severe mental health conditions, children, seizures, pregnancy, implanted. Yes, it's all of those. That's just the contraindications. Again, is to protect you, to protect the company. Stay away from those. All right, advanced practitioner training manual. Manual is, like I already said, we're going to probably be creating things for that. We're probably going to have a step-by-step type of situation where we can train you adequately and get certified in it, okay? So that everybody's on the same page, everybody feels confident, everybody's able to build a successful business, right? That's our job. All of us, we talked about that, right, before lunch. We're brainstorming, and as you guys have feedback, please give that to home office. What would you like to see? What do you need? Just keep letting us know. I mean, can't change things on a dime, but you get the idea. We're here for you, okay? Let's see. Of course, this is just saying, maintain a professional stance at all times, right? You represent an international company that is changing the world. Be proud of it. Financial gain, we know that. There's a lot of different things going on here. I don't want to spend much time here. Just know that we do have the new AI advanced feature, which allows it to scan, apply a repair all on its own, and give you a report at the end, and you don't have to do anything but snap a QR code. So it makes it really simple in an IBO business. That's how you should be working with that, okay? Let them see it in action, what's happening. And now you can explain a few things, comparative analysis, how does it figure this out? There's an NMR, remember, nuclear magnetic resonance, which kind of takes a picture, and then it applies electromagnetic resonance. These terms will become familiar, but when you talk like that, it gives credibility to the technology that you have. Make sense? Traditional imaging techniques like an MRI, ultrasound, CAT scan rely on the same kind of technology, and they may not be able to detect underlying issues that are affecting what's called your energy field. Okay, let me explain that. In my practice, been doing this a long time, seen a lot of people. And I will say this, 80% of all disease I've ever run into was manifested. It means the person created it. Right? Do you understand what I'm saying? Somebody's got cancer, I'll show you something that's eating at them every time. There's a deep underlying emotion connection. There's been a hurt. There's been PTSD. There's been abuse. Something has affected their mental field. Something has affected their soul. Something has affected them consciously. And you can literally create disease. This is real. It can be manifested. And then there's even something called the sins of the father, which can be passed on genetically, right? So we got a lot to deal with here. So when we say bioenergy field, a lot of times something is happening to you out here, and it works its way in, and then it manifests into an expression. Diabetes means lack of sweetness in life. Cancer means something's eating at you. Anger is an overworked liver. Depression is a liver that doesn't work at all. I could do this all day. What I'm trying to say is, as a doctor, and I can say this with 40 years of experience, 80% of all illness was manifested. You created it. If you drink and smoke and don't come home at all, that's your fault. Not the tobacco company, not the fast food industry. You're the one that bought it. You're the one that smoked it. You're the one that drank it. Your fault. Correct? So sometimes we have to understand that what shows up first is a disturbance in the biofield. Bio meaning life, field meaning energy. It happens there first. And if it's not corrected, we'll find a weakness in the body to represent itself, and the cells will respond. In quantum physics, this is what we figured out. It used to be a hypothesis that cells had consciousness. It's now a fact they do. So if you've got 60 trillion cells in your body, they're all thinking and feeling just like you. So when you're standing in front of the mirror naked and go, I don't like myself, I'm too overweight, 60 trillion people are listening to you. I mean it. Careful what you say about yourself. There are 60 trillion people listening to you. And they will respond to how you feel about you. You are wonderfully made. You're amazing. Revel in it. Right? This is temporary. The universe is just going to recycle you when it's done. But while I'm here, I want an amazing ride. Don't you? I want to have a great life. And that's what we need. We need to see that before it happens. As it's happening, we can stop it. And then that crystal ball is, look at you in 10 years. Now you're traveling the world and you got your own yacht. Way to go. Because last time I looked at you, you were in a wheelchair. You did it. Congratulations. Because you had knowledge. Because you had knowledge. And you could turn around the outcome. Quantum physics is nothing but endless opportunities. Every decision you make changes what's happening to you. Now, on the other hand, scans provide a complete picture of your body's energy fields, organs, tissues, which can help identify the tissue before it manifests. Highly accurate. It can even detect tissues those other things cannot. Now, that's the part where you should go, wow. I want to hear wow. Think about that. It's so good. It can pick up things that are not detectable by standard allopathic measures. So as a doctor, you don't think that's got my attention? And I can put this in somebody's house? Yeah. And they don't have to be a doctor? No, I just got to point a camera at it. Where do I sign? I love that. We have a complete picture of what's going on with ourselves. We can identify where those tissues are a problem before we have to medically intervene. That's why I'm here. Yes, a lot of people come to Prife because they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And they're looking for help. And you're offering help without being invasive. I don't have to poke you, prod you, cut you, bleed you, or make you pee. All you got to do is plug this into the wall. That's it. What a phenomenal way to help people. I'm not hurting anybody. And I can make money doing it? I'm in. I feel that this is more than a one-size-fits-all, okay? Because it's given us such a complete picture that we can make the proper recommendations and we have a measurement to see how it's working. Proof. People want proof. Originally designed to help doctors make science-informed decisions back in 1991. I'm doing this for the people that love science and the people that argue with me about, politics. Trust or follow the science. Remember that? Have you heard that in the past couple of years? Say yes. Uh-huh. Well, they forgot to mention that the science comes with a financial incentive package. I'm an academic. I've written 5 books. I've written multiple scientific papers that are double-blind placebo accredited. What does that mean? It means other scientists looked at it and said, yeah, Jay, you're right. But there are plenty of them out there that are designed to help out whoever funded the study. Makes sense? If you're big pharma, right? Big pharmacy, you're going to create a drug. You're going to hire a bunch of scientists, run a bunch of work, and make sure that it comes out favorable. Is that evidence-based medicine, yes or no? No, it's not. Evidence-based medicine gives preference to corporate. It does. I work in this field. I can say this, folks. That's what they do. It's got nothing to do with science. It's got everything to do with money. So it's become what we call hegemonic, and that's the influence of one group over another. It becomes biased, right? So these are built wrong. And what I'm trying to say is we can't always trust everything good or bad. We have to create studies that are non-biased, right? Little evidence estimates treatment effects in observational studies reported after 1984 are either consistently larger than or quantitatively differ from these obtained in randomized control studies. What are they saying? That all of this is financially backed. You can't trust it. It has a corporate interest, which biased itself through multiple money laundering to come out with a conclusion to support whoever paid for it. So when doctors around the world tackle me, this is what I'm saying. Don't throw that in my face when you say PRIFE is not evidence-based. Yes, it is. It's just nobody shared with you the evidence. I have 1,200 scientifically backed studies to prove hydrogen works. We should be selling hydrogen, like crazy. 1,200 studies that say it works. That's evidence-based, right? So I share that with you to let you know there's a problem going on here. And that this evidence-based medicine is really, really in our way. So, how do you fight fire with fire? I'll tell you, you hire me. Because I am currently in the works in the United States putting together evidence-based medicine for you. Okay? I have a group of doctors right now using the bio. All we're doing is studying the bio for neuropathy of the feet. Neuropathy is a disease of your nerves of your feet. You lose all feeling, right? It's not good. It can be very painful. If it advances far enough, amputation. Neuropathy is everywhere because of blood sugar control. And the results we're seeing with the bio are crazy good. These are people that have not been able to feel anything in their feet for years. I had one lady, 21 years, couldn't feel anything in her feet, was on the bio 3 times and could move her toes for the first time in 21 years. She cried in my arms. And I did it for free because I told her it's part of a study. And she's like, I'm going to go sell my car. I want a bio. Because I don't need a car anymore if I can walk. Wow. That's the business you're in. I want to bring that to you. I'm going to put those studies together. I'm going to get them published, and then you can use them, and we can talk out loud that the bio fixes neuropathy. But we can't say that until I get the studies done. So that's how you play the game. Now, evidence-based medicine, for those people that are going to throw this in my face, unable to stop the rise in chronic illness. Would you agree? It has not done that. It has made it worse. Okay? We've come full circle. You know where we're going now? Okay. This is what we're doing here. This is what we're doing. Getting back to that little voice inside of us that says, hey, your body heals itself. It happens no other way. You just got to give me the right tool. Amen? Patients are seen very much as objects from which information is to be gleaned and then inspected. Nowhere in evidence-based medicine, listening to patients and their concerns is regarded as important. Who knows your body better than you? Nobody. As a doctor, I've taught other doctors this my whole career, and I said, you know what? You don't have to study anything. All you got to do is let a person walk in and let them talk. And they'll tell you exactly what's wrong with themselves. They already know. Right? Do you know what your problems are? Yeah. Do you know where you hurt? Do you know when you're tired? Do you know when you're constipated? Yes, that's the point. Doctors don't listen. They should be listening to you because you're the best doctor in this room. I tell I don't call them patients. As a doctor, I call them customers. I get laughed at for that. I always say, I don't practice medicine, I perfect it. And I don't see patients, I see customers. Because the customer is in control. And whenever I'm in a first-time consultation with that person, I listen to everything they're saying, and that's what you should do. Before you even run a MagnoSeq, listen to everything they're telling you because they already know what the problem is. The MagnoSeq will just confirm where it's coming from. That's where we need to go. People know themselves. MagnoSeq can be done manually. We know that. We're talked about that. We can move on past that. We're going to have more instruction coming for you guys as we work those issues out for you. But for now, make sure you run that AI report. It's a really cool feature that people love to walk home with. And then they'll call you back and say, I was reading my report and it says in here, there might be an issue with my circulation. What can I use? Oh, we've got all kinds of products to increase circulation. A complete picture of your body's energy fields, organs, tissues helps identify the issues before they manifest as physical symptoms. People, that's what I'm going to leave you with, is you got to understand this is not to fix you. This is not a medical device. You are not a medical company. What you're doing is bringing healing frequency to the world. First, do no harm. Right? Which means non-invasive. I'm not going to hurt you in any way. Does not require any injections, no radiation. It's just subtle energy, non-ionizing. Highly accurate. Every cell in the human body emits electromagnetic frequencies. To recap, electricity is a nutrient. That's a new concept for people. I also introduced a new concept in Penang for negentropy, understanding what's called the phase conjugate mirror. If you did not attend Penang, I think that my talk there is recorded. I would love it if you'd watch it, if you haven't seen it, because I get into the negentropy aspect and scalar energy aspect very deeply. Crowd loved it. So it's good stuff. And that's something you can use. I would use that to train your downlines, your support groups. I would, right? I don't mean this egotistically. Use me. I'm here. I'm credentialed. I got 3 PhDs, 2 doctors, 4 boards. I've been all over the world, okay? I'm no hack. And I do not mean that egotistically, even though I like myself a lot. I mean that with love. Okay? I hitched my wagon to this company for a reason. I could be anywhere. Why would I pick Prife? So, that's a great tagline. Self-guided wellness. That's a good way to introduce the MagnoSeq. What is that? It's a device that can help you self-guide. It's not diagnosing you. It's just saying you probably should do X. And you should pay attention to Y. Make sense? Automatic aligns applies frequencies to you. We don't have to guess. We can use the AI feature. It makes it really slick. For IBOs, this is huge. Very quick, easy. People don't have to be on a learning curve like you guys all did with the manual. You can sell this like that. Help crush that lifestyle stress and toxins that we take every day. Because if we can have this in the home and we can put people on it, and the family can go through it, right? Everybody's getting healing energy. Everybody's picking up on where they're having issues, and you're jumping on it before it becomes an issue. Wow, what did you do for your family? It's incredible. It pay for itself, highly accurate, much more effective than a one size fits all. Okay. Whew. That was amazing. Yes. Oh,
Thank you, Dr. J.
all right.
Thank you so much.
I know I went really long.
No. It was.
I'm sorry if I went too long.
No. It was perfect. Give him a big hand,
Oh, thank
everyone. Dr. J. So we're gonna have it open for questions and answers. And before we take questions from the crowd, I would like to invite Dr. Sabrina to ask her first question. She's a doctor from Algeria who asked some questions to Dr. Stephen yesterday about the MagnoSeek and was thus invited to ask them to you. So can you pass the mic to Najat to translate? And Dr. Sabrina, please ask your question that you asked yesterday.
Give her the mic.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Sabrina from Algeria, and I got a patient that suffering from cancer, advanced stage. Yeah. And with the MagnoSeek, it was showing that everything is so well, and the cancer was very advanced stage. So I want an answer. I think you have done this, but she arrived late, yeah.
Okay.
So if you can explain about this.
So your detection, that's what you're asking? When it's scanning?
Yeah.
Is not necessarily what? Showing you where this is?
Nothing that everything that is yellow spots means everything is okay. No inflammation, no,
Okay.
not showing anything.
Good. Right? So what's the question?
But she was in the 4th stage of cancer. So
Yeah.
all the blood
Okay.
was, yeah.
So remember what I said before? Were you here?
No, she came late, yeah, sorry.
Okay. Early detection is easy. Okay, so you translate.
Yeah.
Early detection is easy for the MagnoSeek, okay? But once you get into late stage, it has eluded your body's defense mechanisms, and it becomes a part of you. Yeah, so late stage, you're going to have an issue. You're going to have a hard time seeing that in late stage. In early stage, you're going to see it like that. Now, is it going to show you cancer? No. We can't do that. You understand why. All we want to know is what organs or tissues or cells are affected and how can we bring them back to normal. Make sense? Okay,
'Cause
that's
it's
the
not
most
everything.
important thing.
Mhm.
Is not so much can you see a picture of it, because the body's already past that. The body's fighting with this thing. It's literally killing you, right? All defenses are that way. But cancer is very stealthy. It's going to elude your immune system. Otherwise, you wouldn't even have it. Every single person in here right now, every single one of you in this room has cancer. There's not one person in here who does not. But we have an immune system. And if it's working correctly, it seeks out those abnormal cells and does something with them. But when cancer eludes that system, it overwhelms the system and it convinces the body it's part of you. Bad. Make sense? So MagnoSeek's not going to do that. The MagnoSeek, all it's trying to do is wake those cells up to come back to normal. But they're far from normal.
Because sometimes not only her, because I'm representing Algeria, and many doctors has MagnoSeek now. They had MagnoSeek, and many of them are having patients. For example, we have a case that she doesn't know even that she has cancer, and it was advanced.
Right.
And they were saying that everything is okay, but she wasn't feeling well. She went to another cancer, doing MRI, and she started saying many bad things about us and about the MagnoSeek. So that's why you are asking all this, yeah. And many doctors and specialized ones are so interested in having a lot of in their clinics. That's why they want to know more and more about this.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we need to explore more in depth, and we need to create a practitioner platform. This is what Ethan and I, many of us have been talking about, is we want to create a practitioner platform, right? In your area as well. where we can have multiple us. You don't have to be a doctor. You just got to have some knowledge. We can come together and share this type of data because we need to understand it. But I just want to answer her question. It's going to be very difficult to see that. It's better at detecting early than it is late. And by the time we're late, it's too busy trying to find pathways to save the life. So it might be going some other direction, to the thymus or to the bone marrow, neuropeptides, trying to stimulate stem cells. I don't know, but the body's trying to survive, right? And what I love about the MagnaSeq is it can assist us. We saw that even in detoxification, the immune system, and healing. So I don't care. I would run that MagnaSeq every day. Is that helpful?
Yeah.
I want to know if it's helpful to her.
She's having to say on her phone when you're talking. So she's really not trying to say it in French.
Oh, okay. So is she okay?
How about the repairing?
Yeah.
Let's say, okay, it's not detecting these advanced stages, but about the repairing, like we go to reparation, but with these cases.
So in other words, is she asking why wouldn't it repair the cancer?
Yeah,
Well, in theory, it's trying to do that.
there is.
In theory, it's trying to do that. But you got to understand, as I said before, 1 million cells before you can even detect cancer. What would happen if that was systemic? Talking billions, if not trillions. Body's in serious trouble. That's a lot of stuff to fix. You cannot rely upon the MagnaSeq to fix that. It's too late. You need to be very aggressive with other things. This may be a situation where you have no choice but to do chemo or radiation. I can't go there.
Okay.
I just want to try to explain to her that it's not going to show you some big mass or, all these cells are.
We know about this because its frequency is, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's very subtle. Cancer is aggressive. This is very subtle, right? So we still have to put all the things together. So in that situation, I'd be running MagnaSeq every day. I'd be using the terahertz one. I'd be on the bio. I'd be doing OxyTab. I'd be doing hydrogen. I'd be drinking greens. I'd stand on my head. I'd do everything I possibly can.
Okay. Got it.
You got one chance.
Yes. Perfect.
Okay.
Dr.
We okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Merci. Cool.
Merci beaucoup.
Dr. J, do you think we could then generalize and say that the MagnaSeq is designed more for early stage detection?
Yes.
And it's not what you would depend on if, let's say, you have late
Yes.
stage cancer or you have something that is
Yeah.
very like life-threatening at that moment. At that moment, you would not go towards the MagnaSeq.
Correct.
Okay.
The MagnaSeq is really designed for detection. Early detection, not massively chronic disease. You already know you're hurting. You already know that person's ill. If they're at that stage, they already know they have these problems. Correct?
Correct.
What we're looking for is may you never know the disease you prevent. Remember? Isn't that where we started 2 hours ago? Don't forget. Because I think if we say that, that's the right kind of generalization of what the device is trying to do, is to help point you like a compass in the right direction.
To give yourselves a pep talk.
Yes.
To give yourselves a pep talk.
Slap them up a little bit.
We're open to other questions. Anyone with a question, please raise your hand. I saw her first, so she comes first. Can you pass the mic to her, please? Hang on. Mic coming.
Well, like what
I'm
if?
Sienna, and I'm a stage 4 cancer warrior, and I've done the works, chemo, everything, stem cell transplant. First, I want to make sure that doesn't come back. I want to make sure every cell in my body heals. So how does MagnaSeq help?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the whole point, is you're seeking out the imbalance, right? Remember, nuclear magnetic resonance is a way to detect the spin of electrons, right? Remember the solar system? Knock one planet out, you got a problem. Think about that on a micro scale. Once it sees that, it doesn't matter where it is. If you ignore it, it grows or can get away, right? So the MagnaSeek is just simply doing that, returning the body back to balance, and it will heal itself. It's not a cure-all, end-all. Don't think of it that way. But in this case, I would be using that MagnaSeek all the time, because if anything does go slightly haywire or possibly comes back, right? Wouldn't want that. But if it did, you'd have a better chance of knowing it. And if it clinically can help the immune system, why wouldn't you do that? Right? But in situations like that, you're going to be, right, totally aggressive in many different ways. You're not going to let your guard down ever again, are you? Exactly. And how long does it take to create a brand new you?
7 years
So how long do you want to be in remission?
or lifelong.
Minimum. I think if I made the 7th year and I had no reoccurrence, I'd start feeling like, because you have a brand new body.
Things can happen after 10 years.
Well, yes, they can, if they're not detected. That's the whole purpose of this, is to make sure you have a window into the crystal ball.
Very nice. Thank you,
Thank you.
Datin, for your question. Next question. Arms up. Yes. Depan. Yes.
Hello, hi Dr. J. I'm Mei Ling. I'm having this AMD problem with both my eyes. I have one wet and one dry condition. So my question is that actually I did try the MagnoSeek to scan, but the problem is that it didn't scan my problem that I'm having. Is it because my condition is already advanced, so it bypassed it? So anyway, how do I prevent it? You know, the one that is in the dry condition to get it worse, and how do I treat the wet condition? I'm on injection now.
Yeah.
Currently.
You can take your MagnoSeek and you can take it manually and have it concentrate on the eyes only. Have you done that? Well, then do that
Okay, you mean
every day. Every day. We'll help you with that. Okay? Yeah. The other thing, what did I do with the hydrogen mister today? We have clinical studies that actually help repair the sclera and the eye of hydrogen going right into the eye. Your eyes are nothing more than cameras, right? And your cameras are out of focus. You've got a little bit of a lubrication issue, right? So I'd be using hydrogen.
daily?
Just one example. And I would target the MagnoSeek to your eyes on a daily basis. You can do that. You can home in so that you're sending energy there, But we have to look at this holistically, right? Are there nutrients you could take? Like lutein. Yes, you should be taking lots of lutein. You know, there's many different things. Glutathione. There's many different things that can help you with your eyes. Marigold flowers. I do marigold flower tea, right? There's lots of things you could be doing. And that's my point, right? Is the MagnoSeek helps us figure that out. So I would concentrate the MagnoSeek at that. I'd be looking at some of these other therapies. I'd be wanding my eye, right?
All right. Thank you for that. We have our next question from Dato Soma in the back, who is our private health advisor. So can we help pass the mic to him? And Dr. Sabrina has a follow-up question. And then we'll get to you. No, her first. MagnoSeek owners get priority in asking questions.
Good evening, Dr. J. Thank you for giving the opportunity to ask a question.
Yes.
Now, I saw that, in one of those, it was saying that our cells or even organs are emitting electromagnetic frequencies. Now, when we are talking about electromagnetic frequencies, they can also be on the electromagnetic spectrum, broad spectrum. Now, would you like to, these frequencies, would you like to identify as individual frequencies or put it on a broad spectrum as bioresonance?
Thank you. That's a great question. My understanding is it's matching to the frequency of what optimum would be. So it's finding that frequency. If you're out of phase, remember the lines, right? The comparative analysis, right? We're trying to bring that back into to frequency, right? So it needs to be nudged. So it's automatically applying the right frequency, but it might take time to bring those lines congruent. As long as they're staying apart, there's an interference pattern. So what's the interference? That's the better question. I would propose back to you is what is the interference? So I need to know what they're eating, what they're drinking, what they're smoking. I need to know all of it because there's an interference. And as long as the MagnaSeek is putting you back there and you keep applying the interference, you're not going to win. So that's my point today is don't think of the MagnaSeek as some cure-all, end-all fountain of youth that's going to fix everything. No. But you need it to find where the imbalance is. It will apply the correct frequency, no guessing, like a Rife machine, no guessing. But you still need to do other things. Correct? And I think that's where it becomes valuable to all of us that we start helping not only ourselves, but other people when you identify the issue that got them ill to begin with. And it has to be removed. Correct? It has to be changed. Otherwise, the interference pattern would just continue. No matter how many times you try to bring it back together, it keeps doing this. Does that make sense? So instead of trying to think, what's the frequency? What's the megahertz? We're going to be here all day because it's unlimited. Right? We could take every frequency and just go down a tenth or a hundredth or a thousandth, and we change the frequency. So the MagnaSeek says, no, this is the frequency you need to be at to be optimum. You're not there. So I'm going to give you that until you come back. And sometimes you apply that frequency and the cell does not move. It takes a lot of nudging, a lot of work, right? Just like somebody who's been lazy for a long time and they start to exercise, it takes a while before it becomes a habit and they start doing it themselves. Correct? That's what you're doing with this technology. Does that help or not? Does that answer your question? Because if you're asking specific frequencies, I got a book this big.
That's good.
And
All right.
and that's,
Thank you, Dr. Soma.
that's the old way of doing things, trying to figure out the frequency. And if you're off 100th of a point, it won't, it's like a voice shattering glass. The tone's got to be just right or the glass will not shatter. Correct? The MagnaSeek automatically gives you the right frequency. You don't have to think.
All right. Fantastic. Follow-up question from Dr. Sabrina, and then we'll go to Lisa.
Okay.
And then you.
With the MagnaSeek, we have like it's giving many kinds of therapies. So what to choose exactly? And also talking about the ITR care, I have both, let's say, and I have certain pathology with some patients. So which one I'm choosing exactly, the ITR care or the MagnaSeek? And if MagnaSeek, what kind of therapy exactly, the method or others here, data or phytotherapy?
Therapy or the activity therapy.
So you're into the manual applications, what you're asking,
Yeah.
right?
So then they are using the manual.
Yeah.
Tool.
So, Ethan, did you catch that? Did you catch that? Yeah, mineral therapy, yeah. Yeah, well, all of them. All of them. I don't care. And mineral therapy is very powerful. Trust me, it's probably the most powerful thing next to what's called the moon phase that's in the software, is that mineral therapy. It's phenomenal because it's working with crystals and vibration to amplify the frequency and make it stronger. That will literally shatter glass, so to speak. Does that make sense?
She have tried it on some patients and have seen miracles in one session, by the way. True.
Her second question was, if you find someone, do you MagnaSeek them or do you iTera care them? Or do you both them?
Am I on a date?
If you ask nicely, maybe.
I think if I was starting with a brand new person that I wanted to bring into my business, I don't care if it's IBO, I don't care if it's PWG, I'd be running a MagnoSeek first. Right? Because I need a picture. I need a starting point. I need to know what's going on. Then that's going to help me, and it would help any of you if you saw something like the report came back and said there's really a problem with circulation. Don't think of disease. Circulation. Does terahertz help with circulation? Next question. So yes, I'm going to now ask them to use the terahertz one. I may give it to them overnight, whatever. But you need this type of therapy. Does that make sense? If we got a lot of inflammation in the body, could we use terahertz? Yes, because it reduces inflammation. If we want to create neuropeptides, which stimulate stem cells are not generated by terahertz. Did you hear me? What happens is terahertz makes neuropeptides. Neuro. Terahertz makes neuropeptides. Neuropeptides are the body's natural pharmacy. And when your body makes the right, everything happens. It's information. That's what stimulates stem cells, is neuropeptides. So do our products stimulate stem cells? Yes, but not directly. So you must say that correctly. No, they stimulate neuropeptides. Neuropeptides stimulate stem cells. Now you can't get in trouble. Anyway, I went off on a tangent. Sorry. I do that.
No, good tangent.
Yeah.
Good tangent.
But my point is, the MagnoSeek helps us understand what to do. And if you study the benefits of hydrogen, like I have, you're going to recommend hydrogen, oversaturated hydrogen water bottles, hydrogen misters, way more than you are now. And if you study terahertz as much as I have, everybody needs a wand. I don't care. Are you a human? Yes, you need one. Because everybody gets pain. If it hurts, apply terahertz. If you're feeling sad, put on a thunderstorm around your neck. If you don't know what's wrong with you, get on a MagnoSeek. Think of the tools that we have.
All right, fantastic. So next question is from one of our MagnoSeek early adopters.
Yes.
Anita?
Yes, Dr. J. Hi.
Yes, thank you.
No, my very close friend, you said was one question you say is diseases are self-inflicted, right?
Yes.
But my friend, my very close friend, is a very healthy person, but she's diagnosed with CJD. And can I help her with MagnoSeek to balance back her cells?
Okay. So that's the type of question you're going to get for the rest of your life. And that's why I'm here. Whether you're a doctor and you're not a doctor, I don't care. You just open yourself to liability. How would you answer that after you listen to me for 2 hours?
Well, I pick up as that, the one word is faith. All
Like
right?
that. Okay.
So
I'm listening.
I will apply it as faith medicine.
Ah,
All right. And I will definitely give it a try.
will this hurt?
It won't hurt because it's non-invasive.
Oh, wow. I'm interested.
Yes.
She's offering me faith and non-invasiveness. I'm
Non-invasive.
listening now.
So I will give it a try when she's discharged. Because we can't use it in the government hospital. When she's discharged,
Right.
I'm going to use it. And then I'm going to base on faith medicine.
But she's asking you about a specific disease.
Now,
That's the trap.
Now,
That's a trap.
no, the trap it's not a trap because it's my very close friend.
No, that's not what I mean.
Okay. And I see because this disease rapidly, day by day, it changes.
Yes.
So it really scares me. And I want to learn more, especially I have the MagnoSeek myself.
Good.
How do I prevent? Because it's supposed CJD is about the abnormal protein that produces in the brain. So how do we go about it? How do we prevent? As I have a friend with this case, and how do we actually share and prevent this coming about with people?
Well, obviously, the body got into trouble. Correct?
Body got into trouble?
We're making abnormal proteins.
Okay.
Where do proteins come from?
Food,
Neuropeptides.
neuropeptides.
What does terahertz provide?
Neuropeptides.
And neuropeptides help create stem cells.
Yes.
MagnoSeq can actually have a pep talk to the DNA, all the way down to the mitochondria of the cell. See how you're coming at that from the cell now?
Yes.
And not thinking about the disease
Yeah.
or how the disease manifests.
Correct.
That's what I meant by trap. Because we're doctors. I get that. We could talk like this all day, but most of the people in this room cannot. So when people say, I got diabetes, will a MagnoSeq fix me? Walk away.
You have to. take
Because
your
you do
blood.
not say yes to that or you go to jail. What you say is, no, I don't have a medical device. I have a device that's very good for picking up subtle imbalances and having a pep talk with yourselves, like exercise. Over time, doesn't that make sense? And people go, well, yeah. Well, will it help me? I just said that. See, you just got to be careful of the vernacular.
All right. But it's just
Because obviously there's something going on at the genetic level.
Mhm.
And that's where the MagnoSeq wants to go.
So.
So we're not just taking an MRI to see if you've got a diseased kidney. This is actually showing you what cells are in the game or out of the game.
So if I were to use the MagnoSeq on her,
Yes.
will I be able to see all the black spots, all the number 6 in her brains?
You probably would see areas like that that will correspond. But let's say that problem is coming from a genetic code that lies elsewhere in the body,
Mm-hmm.
like the bone marrow.
Okay.
Is it going to show you the brain or the bone marrow?
Okay. I got it.
I've seen this more than once with MagnoSeqs. It goes so deep that it's not even near where the problem is. It manifested somewhere else, but it came from here, right? Because DNA is replicating. And we don't want to make bad copies.
Because it's a very close friend of mine, and
Yeah.
so I'm just going to give it a try when she's
Yeah,
discharged.
I would.
And
Honestly, I
see
would.
how it goes.
Yeah.
And then hopefully,
Yeah, I agree.
as I said, it's faith medicine,
Non-invasive,
non-invasive,
subtle.
and it's God's will to heal her.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Lisa. But Dr. J,
That was really good.
Dr. J.
That was really good. Thank you. That was good discussion.
All right. Before the next question, Dr. J, I would like to generalize her question. And what if someone comes to anyone with a MagnoSeq and they ask, can MagnoSeq help with X, whatever X is? Can you give like a standard answer that everyone should remember to provide?
Yeah. The answer is always, I don't know. But what I can tell you is everything we just talked about. Non-invasive, subtle energy, giving your cells a pep talk. Do not get caught into that. So I always say, I don't know. But like she just said, is it worth a try? Yeah. What's the alternative? Correct. So many people are saying, yeah, because I can't hurt you. It's not going to hurt you in any way, shape, or form. So why don't you give it a try? Some people feel results the first time, not everybody. So don't go there. I don't know, but I can tell you what it does. So you always explain the benefits. Never answer the question directly. That's what I meant by trap. Right? I've been doing this a long time. I had to be careful what I say around the world because I don't know who's listening. Right? So I'm always careful to make sure I just talk about the benefits. That's it.
All right.
Answer the question,
Yes.
benefits only.
Benefits.
Don't say yes to a illness.
Mhm. Don't say
You
yes.
put yourself in jeopardy.
Yeah.
You say, I don't know, but what I can tell you is here's what it does. You already know. That's what I would say.
All right. Fantastic. Is that clear for everyone? Beautiful. Next question.
Yes, Dr. J, thank you so much. It's just actually quick clarification in using MagnaSeq when you mentioned that, it's AI, so let it just do it. So is it all right? Because I've been just doing AI. I mean, like, just the auto detailed cycle. I mean, I'm not yet going to, like focusing, and yet it has been helping me a lot. So is that safe, like for a start, just to every night?
Yeah.
Just the AI.
Is it safe? You could run a MagnaSeq every day, 5 times a day. You're not going to hurt yourself. But when you scan, right, to give you the picture, that you don't need to do every day.
Yeah.
Okay? But you can run your repair either AI or manual as often as you want. You could run it all day long, all night long. You can keep going. I don't care. You're not going to hurt yourself. This is very subtle, right? So that analogy, try to think of that analogy. If somebody's been on the couch, they're a couch potato. You know what couch potatoes are, right? And you can't get them off the couch. They're lazy, right? No matter what you do, you got to get up and exercise. You got to eat right. I'm going to watch TV and play games, right? Takes a while to get them off the couch. Then it takes them a while to move. And it takes a while before they start moving on their own. And it takes a while before they're self-sufficient. That's what we're doing. Talking to those cells that are dormant, lazy, not doing their job. And that happens because of all the things: illness, stress, environment, lifestyle. Well, let's just keep it conceptualized that way. Right? Does that make sense? That's
Thank you.
perfect. I love what you said. Thank you.
All right, beautiful. Next question. Anyone?
Hey, buddy.
Hang on. 1, 2, 3. How about that? One over here.
My buddy,
Okay, 3.
South Africa.
Hi, Dr. J. It's nice to meet you again.
Nice to meet you again. Thanks for
Yes,
coming.
yeah. So I done the test in Bali.
Yeah.
I just want to know, like, so you got a report. Of course, after that, we haven't had a machine in our office. We're still waiting for it. But the question is, do you need to be somebody who medically qualified? Because we have somebody going to be available in our office. But like, for example, my report, I don't know what to do after that because, okay, don't have the MagnaSeq. So how do people go about if they don't own a machine and there's some issues they have and how many times they need treatment?
Right.
etc.?
Do you remember what I was saying up here? The more chronic or long-standing disease that you've had, the more sessions you're going to need to do, right? So to answer your question, depends on how sick they are. So, right? I mean, it's common sense. Does that make sense? Do you have to be a doctor? No. If you use the AI, you do not. If you're going to get into manual and start creating pathways and telling people that I think I found a virus, now you're into medical. I encourage you not to do that. Let the report speak for itself. Let the AI report for you, your family, your customers, will let it speak for itself.
But does it says that how many times that customer needs to come back?
Well, I think
Get
when you
covered.
see the report, right, and you've not seen one, but when you do, you're going to see certain what we call risk factors, right? So it, as an example, you run it and it goes, hey, you got a left anterior descending artery here that doesn't look so good, right? That's part of your coronary artery. It's feeding the heart. Not good. It's blocked. What would you do? Go get a bypass? Or are you going to advise them to change their diet, start doing things, increase circulation, right? You have a product called Natozymes. I would be using that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
You go after it. And then you, of course, if you see something and it looks serious to you, you tell them, you need to go get a second opinion. You need to go see your medical doctor. Make sure you say that because that protects you. If you see something questionable, like this doesn't look good, and they're like, well, I showed on my report, my heart doesn't look so good. I'd be like, well, you should probably go see your cardiologist. That covers you. Because, you're not saying, well, I'll fix it for you. Now you're playing doctor, now you're in trouble. Right? That's what I love about our Prife products. They're easy to recommend because, again, we're not telling them this is going to fix anything. We're just saying, here, this will help with circulation. This will reduce inflammation. That's all you got to say. Don't say anything else.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
That's very good. Very good discussion. Thank you for
Thank
that
you.
question.
So I guess what we're getting at is to not think of the MagnoSeek, like Dr. J said, as the only solution to any problem. that you
Yes.
have.
Yeah.
The MagnoSeek helps you find out
Yes.
where to blow the Iteracare, for example.
Yes.
You scan them anywhere that's red, take the Iteracare and point it there, for example. Give them other products, our hydrogen products, our supplements, tell them to eat right, exercise,
Yes.
fast once in a while.
Yes.
It's holistic.
Holistic.
The
Yep.
MagnoSeek just gives you data.
Yes.
Would I be correct? in
Don't
saying
forget what you know. Yeah, I'll say this because around the world, and I have been teaching about MagnaSeek around the world. When doctors get a hold of it, they're all like, well, now that I see all this stuff and you're telling me the MagnaSeek will fix it. And I'm like, I never said that. Yeah, but it must. And it's like, what do I do? And I go, did you forget everything you learned? And they're like, what do you mean? For example, if I was dealing with mitochondria of the heart, remember I talked about that? Hundreds of mitochondria per cell, which the primary fuel is CoQ10. I'm thinking I need to get this person on CoQ10 now. Does that make sense? And studies have shown what it does. So don't forget what you know, and that's what he means. Don't forget what you know. Ethan and I and the rest of the MagnaSeek team, we can code stuff in there and say, hey, when you see this, add that. When you see this, why don't you tell them this? We can do that for you. But a lot of you already know what to do. Don't forget what you know. Be holistic, mind, body, spirit. Okay? That's how you help people. The whole energy game, multi-body.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, Dr. J. Next question, Madam Thay.
I'm hitting the wall. Yes. Okay.
My son is 42 years old, and he just went for a cataract operation somewhere in the month of March. Okay, that is before our MagnoSeek comes out. Now, my next question is that I will have to bring him down to the office to go for the MagnoSeek testing. Then, will the AI be able to handle his cataract issue?
In one session? No.
Okay, roughly how many?
That's the same question everybody's been asking since they got here. And as I said, the more the issue, the longer the disease, the more sessions you need. And remember, there's nothing older than you than 7 years, right? So how long to build a new you?
7 years.
Well, then I'd be doing the MagnaSeek for 7 years.
Okay, but the issue is that his parents.
You can't, that's the problem. What you're asking is where we get into the trap.
Yes, correct.
Okay,
So we're trying to help you not do that. Okay? Remember, it's going to seek out the cells, apply AI, try to get optimum. The more you do it, the more success you will have. The more you do it, the more you do it, the more you do it, the more success you will have. But it's slow and subtle. It's not a hammer, it's a feather.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So that means to say I encourage him to come once a week for treatment for the AI.
There you go.
I think that also means that you can encourage him to buy a MagnoSeek for himself. Thank you, Madam Thay. Next question.
See, he could say that.
Next
That was-
question over here. So after him, do we have any more questions? Anyone else? Any more questions? In that case, William will be the last question after you. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So I'm from Brazil. I lost my flight. I'm glad that it happened.
Congratulations.
Aw. Bless you.
Okay. And my wife, she's got glaucoma. So I've bought that vitamin eye drop for her eyes and the glasses.
Mhm.
And what else? I mean, this technology can help her.
Yeah, I would use the MagnaSeek no matter what the issue is. We get hung up on organs and specifics, right? Think of yourself as a whole. Everything is connected to everything. There's nothing separate. Sometimes your eyes can be affected by your kidneys. Your kidneys can be affected by your knees. Did you know that? They're on the same meridian. So sometimes the problem isn't in the eye. The problem's in the kidney. The MagnaSeek helps you understand that, where the problem is. And it helps us to think different. But if I'm helping the eyes, we have many things. I just said there's hydrogen. Why aren't you using that? How come you don't have the NV specs, right? Anything that can help with the eyes, correct? Electrolytes, there are greens, there are many things that we can be doing, right? It's not just the MagnaSeek only. To me, the MagnaSeek is where you start. That's a compass. It will guide you where you need to go. The Bio does so many things. Everybody should have one of these. I love the Bio. And the wand is just something I can't live without. As soon as I got here, I went to Victor. I need a wand. My back was killing me 16 hours on a plank. I had a flat butt, you know, it hurt. I'm like, oh, yeah. All right. Now we're good. See, I don't want to leave home without that stuff. But that's how you got to be thinking. Does that help?
Okay, that helps a lot. Okay,
Come at from many different ways. Look at everything. Like he said, the lifestyle, the stress, the environment, all those things, because that's 90% of the problem. And I think when you guys see the AI reports, how those are generated, they're very helpful. There's a lot of information that you sit there and scroll through. And it gives you recommendations. And we're going to improve that too.
Okay, thank you.
One thing I want to say is please be patient with us as a company. I mean that. You guys are in first. You're in smart. You're more educated than 99.9% of the people on this planet after today. I mean that. There's nobody talking about what we're talking about. And you're the front line. Okay? I just want you to get excited and know what you got, but we're going to have some growing pains. Be patient, work with us, not against us. We're all in this together. All right? Can I count on you as being the Prife family?
Yes.
Hallelujah. Thank you so much. Okay. One more?
One more.
One
So,
more.
Final question
I'm
from
toast
William,
here.
who, along with his wife, were one of the first people in Prive to buy a MagnaSeek.
Yay!
Personal use.
Thank you, Dr. J.
Yes, sir.
He missed his flight and I took a drive up from, I think it's a very, we gain a lot from your session this evening. So my question is about interference. I think most of us are guilty of putting our handphones like within reach of where we sleep. And some of us may even have our routers, which are quite close to where we sleep, you know?
Yes.
So the interference of this device on the MagnaSeek, because we have done it a few times, the scan.
Yes.
And we found that there is some discrepancies, and some discrepancies are quite obvious, very obvious discrepancies. So can you give us like a kind of figure how far away should these devices be from us?
I don't know if you heard me before. I said, but I have a dedicated room, probably, you know, I'm English, 8 foot by 10 foot, right? There's no electronics in that room. It's the farthest away from where my smart meter is on my house. The smart meter on your house is 1,000 times more dangerous than your router. If you know where your smart meter is on your house, you put an EMF blocker on that ASAP, right? Our EMF badges, you know, the decals, right? You go outside, you stick that right on there. Do that as soon as you get home, because that thing is causing interference everywhere. That's the first thing. Second thing is the router. All my routers in my house go off at midnight, come back on at 6 in the morning. I don't want that on when I'm sleeping. Why would you do that? So, to answer your question, yes, your house is full of EMF. We have smart appliances and smart TVs that make us dumb, okay? It's hurting us, right? Does that make sense? So you need a space, minimum of 8 by 10 feet when you're sitting in a room. Nothing around you. No phones. That's how I run the scan. I don't have the TV on, the radio, everything's off. Because it's so sensitive, it can pick up EMF from probably 6 feet away. So your phone's right next to your arm. No, it's picking up the phone, not you. Remember, this is very subtle, right? And our bones make about a millivolt of electricity a day. That's not a lot, but our bones make electricity, right? But that's a very small amount considering what's coming at us. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
So keep away from your smart meter, keep away from your routers. Those are the big. The third thing that's the worst is your alarm clocks. Alarm clock radios, get rid of those. Microwave, I haven't had a microwave in my house in 20 years. Get rid of them. You don't need microwaves. Okay? I'll tell you why. Let me take a pint of your blood out of your body. Okay? Let it cool. I can't put cold blood back in your body because you'll die. So I'm going to put it in the microwave and warm it up to 98.6 Fahrenheit and put that back in your body. You going to let me do it? Why do you all repel? But yet you stick your food in there every time. Because if you did, the blood would coagulate in your body, you'd instantly die. Yet you put your food in there? So we have to think about radiation, how far that's going, even though we can't see it. The home is the most toxic EMF place on earth right now.
Electric cars?
So to answer your question, 8 by 10, minimum, clear it out. Have a dedicated spot to do the MagnoSeek. If you can't do that, make sure you turn off routers and those kinds of things. You want it as quiet. You want them relaxed. Don't let them eat for at least 2 hours before they run the MagnoSeek, and you'll have a very, very accurate MagnoSeek. But if they just drank and ate and smoked and walked in off the street, and it's going to be all over the place.
Plus,
Plus,
a lot of sense.
you can absorb EMFs. Did you know that? Your body literally tries to absorb some of that, even though it's denaturing to your DNA. And then you actually emulate that back out as the body tries to get rid of it. So we become toxic and we end up making other people toxic. But I found when you do things like MagnoSeeks and terahertz and these types of things, people say to me, I feel lighter, I feel better. I feel like, I've actually heard people say this, my friends and family have changed around me. And I say, I know why. It's because you're emulating terahertz. You are the antenna. You are an antenna array. Understand that. What are you emitting? Remember that when you leave here today.
That's beautiful.
Okay?
Dr. J, a quick follow-up on his question. I hope you don't mind. So I have seen people, number one, do the diagnosis with their left hand, with their right hand holding a smartphone. and worse than that, okay, maybe for diagnosis, I've seen them put it next to their MagnoSeek, so they're not holding it. But during repair, most people I know are doing repair on one hand and holding a smartphone on the other hand. Is that just a waste of time in doing the repair?
I think on the scan, right, Ethan, the scan is critical. You do not have anything near you, but on the repair, can they hold the phone? Ethan? On repair. Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay. Everybody hear that? So
No.
scanning, very important. But if they're doing the repair, it might not be as critical.
Okay.
So we're saying if somebody's got to get on their phone that bad, wait till the scan's done. And then when you run an AI repair, fine, let them look at the phone. But maybe that's the reason they're sick to begin with. They're addicted to their phone. I don't know.
When you use your phone, are you going to use your phone? You're not going to 4 hours. But we may.
Yeah.
Pick it up, check your message.
But yeah, let's try to stay off it though. Okay. Yeah. I know people will start freaking out if you disconnect them from a phone, but they'll live. Okay,
All right.
are we good?
I think we're good. I think that's all the.
Okay, I just want to take it 1 second.
Yes, please.
Thank you, all of you, for allowing me to come into this country and be a part of your healing journey. I am a part of Prive for a reason. I've come a long way to talk to you, but I am here to help you every step of the way. This is a journey for all of us, but I want to see Prive take over the world. Okay, so let's travel the world together and let's do some healing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Dr. J. Let's give him a warm round of applause. And thank you so much for spending your time with us. I really appreciate you.
You make me cry.
We love you. We love you. Thank you so much, everyone. The meeting is over. Are we still selling stuff outside, by the way?